Hello, everybody. I'm your host, Eric Bird, here at StopStrugglingNow.com. And today, we're going to talk about what else? The stock market. It keeps going up, it keeps going down. You know those little shares that I was talking about before, the velocity stocks? What do you do with the profits? We never talked about that. Well, we're going to talk about it today. We're going to go over a few things. Your financial future is at stake. So please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. Now, let's get to it. All right, welcome back. That's right, before we get onto the screen, we're going to talk about a few things. There has to be profit taking, right? We're going to talk about what you did before, if you're still in on these velocity stocks, and some of these shares that you might want to think about because, like I've said before, dividend stocks are very important. When 10% of the world's richest owns 80% of the stocks, now you know why the casino is rigged. And that's why we have to take advantage when the taking advantage is good, such as Ford. I keep saying Ford. The reason why I do is because everybody can afford it. It went down as low as $5.20, $5.24 the other day. You can use some of your velocity stock profits to put into these shares. And I keep saying it again, 60 cents a year. You're getting more than 10% on your money, as long as they're issuing dividends, which they do every 3 months. This is what the wealthy do. And what else do the wealthy do? They have a whole life insurance policy where they're earning 4% on their money. You can also invest in that scenario, which I'll have a link down below for a webinar. It's not my webinar, it's Wealth Nation's webinar. And they're actually the agents that handle the type of whole life insurance dividend policy that I'm referring to, because you'd be sitting on the sidelines right now going, I'm earning 4% on my money, regardless of what the stock market does. And I can borrow against that money tax-free, regardless of what the stock market does. So now, let's get into it on the screen. Here we go. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. You see we're at the Stop Struggling Now YouTube channel page. And for all those listening on podcasts, I want to say thank you. And if you're listening on podcasts, please share, please download, and let other people know what's going on, the American people. All those who are making less than $100,000 a year, and there's quite a few Americans who do, and worldwide. These are the kind of times when you have to pay attention, where you can take advantage of the screw-ups by the top 1%, by the top 10%. So right now, please, again, share the videos. Here we go. Wealth creation. That's what we're trying to do here. There's many things we're trying to do. We're trying to take advantage, like I mentioned earlier. But let's start with this. Today, here's the Dow Jones Industrials. They overnight, they have a thing called futures. Expand your minds. Imagine, if you will, the top 1%ers, the top 10% of the wealthy in the United States owns 84% of the stocks. So where do you think the most manipulation is going to be? Because let's face facts. He who has the gold makes the rules. Isn't that the story? They make the rules. Why else would, if the stock market goes down 7%, would they halt trading? They have to. They have to come up with a new game plan. They're not going to lose money in the long run. This is why the stock market always goes up, which people seem to not understand. There's reasons the market goes down, because people need to take back those profits, have an excuse why it goes down, and they have to start selling their shares so they can take profit. And then when there's a freeze on buybacks by corporations who, by the way, receive tax breaks. So they are using their tax break money and their profits to buy back their own stock. So therefore it makes it look like the stock's going up. And who holds the stock? The CEOs, the top 1%, insider trading, hedge funds, mutual funds, and therefore they sell it while the sheep, which is the rest of us, go in and say, oh, well, this looks like a good company. The stock's going up. I should put my money in there. And then they pull the rug right from underneath you as your 401k goes down, as your mutual fund account goes down. We're going to talk about all of this because you're the target of where their wealth is coming from. Stop being a target. Again, today, get your UVXY. Get some TVIX. Get your VIXY, VIXY. It runs the range of the gamut. We're going to talk about that today. But first, let's get to the wealth building class that I promised. There's going to be a link down below. All right? There's a link down below. You go over to this master class. It's Darius and Carmen. They're going to explain to you all this time you've been putting your money away. You could have been putting your money away in a life insurance policy that is holding where you can earn 4% on your money and get dividends. So you could actually earn more, and it has no bearing on what happens with the stock market. So you have a double safe zone. You have money in an account with 100-plus-year-old companies. This is what the wealthy do. Join the wealthy. You can do it. They just don't tell you this in schools. They want you to be a worker bee. How many times do I have to say this? So I'm getting excited about this because this is what Stop Struggling Now is all about. Ordinary citizens, you can bust out and take advantage of the 1%ers screw-ups. And they screwed up. So anyhow, I'm going to talk about all that today, but there will be a link down below so how you can go see this webinar. It starts whenever you go. They have a running clock kind of thing. So if you go there now or after this video, it'll start 15 minutes. Like every 15 minutes, this webinar will kick off. So it doesn't matter what time of day or night. You can go use the link down below and go see this webinar. It will change your life. It will change your perspective on how you are going to run your life from now on and not be beholden to putting your money in a 401k. Not beholden to saying, put my money in an IRA, a Roth, and all this other stuff, because what's the deal? They want it in a 401k. I'm going to explain all this in this video. This is going to be powerful today, so you don't want to miss it as the stock market melts down. Take advantage while you can. Let's see here. What are we going to talk about? Here we go. Goldman Sachs, who basically is in the back pocket of the federal government. Most of the time, a Treasury Secretary worked with Goldman Sachs. Other people on the cabinet work with Goldman Sachs. Why? Because you have to have Fed banks. Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Chase. You got to have all these guys on board and their investment banks. They have to fund the stock market when things go down. So anyhow, I'm going to have a link to this Market Watch so you can understand, educate yourself, expand your mind. You're being assaulted and don't even know it and being complacent about it and saying, here's my money here, here's my money there. I'm going to show you something else. Yesterday, I guess I'll have to put it, you can see on the screen, March 12th was yesterday. The Dow plummet 10%, the biggest one-day drop since 1987's Black Monday. Is this the best economy ever? Wake the hell up. Where do you think they're going to get the money from when this thing goes down? If this keeps going down any further, your bank account could be under assault. Your 401k could be under assault. Those pensions you think you're going to get when you retire aren't going to be there. Therefore, you have to plan for you and your family's wealth and well-being. And how do you do that? You do it right now. When the stock market goes down, I'm giving you those velocity stocks that you could be making a huge gain and then using some of that money to reinvest it in stocks that have dividends. And you know which one I'm talking about right now because I said it on the preview. And I'll keep going. This is going to be short and sweet. So here's what happened. Investors stockpiled a record $137 billion in cash in just 5 days. Do you not see what's going on here? $137 billion in cash. You know why? Because they knew the stock market was going to go down. So therefore, now they can buy up stocks that have went down 20%, 30%, 40% in some cases. So therefore, you have these days where the stock market goes back up because if you have $137 billion sitting on the sidelines, they're looking for an entry point to buy back in. And that's when you'll have a boost in shares. That's a lot of money. But what happens after that 137 billion runs out? Because, hell, the Feds put in 100 or $1.7 trillion yesterday. The stock market still went down 2,000 points and still went down to the 1987 levels as far as losing money. Percentages did not matter. So 137 billion surely is not going to matter, is it? And by the way, in case people don't know, 1.7 trillion is 10 times almost the 137 billion. Actually, it is. So that gives you an idea of why the stock market went up today on Friday, March 13th, because the federal government, the capitalist society, I put in air quotes for all you people who can't see me right now, capitalist society in quotes, all of a sudden is giving words, using words like stimulus, injection of money. It's called socialism. It's called they're taking your money. Who do you think is going to pay for this ultimately? They're not. We're already 23 trillion in debt. Where's this money coming from, ladies and gentlemen? That's right, worker bees. The ones that are sleeping every day. The ones that's going to work 40, 50, 70 hours a week. Putting their money in a 401k that these clowns control. Putting your money in a mutual fund that these clowns control. Come on. This is Stop Struggling Now. You don't have to be a sheep. And here's my point. So y'all know I come with the facts. There it is. The richest 10% of Americans now own 84% of all stocks. That was in 2017, December. What do you think's happening right now? You understand now why that $137 billion is sitting on the sidelines? They knew this was going to happen. And so when the stock market goes down, they're buying. That's how it works. And most people, most Americans don't have money to invest in the stock market. Therein lies the situation. This is why Apple costing over $200 a share. Tesla costing over $500 a share. These kind of things are happening because who can enter this space? 60% of Americans do not even have $500 in the bank. What's worse, 70% of Americans do not have $1,000 in the bank. And this is why I'm trying to sit here and tell you, as a Stop Struggling Now subscriber, podcast listener, whether you're on Instagram, no matter what I'm posting up, this is all working for you. You don't have to make $150,000 a year to do what we're doing. That's why you can invest in VIXI. You can invest in UVXY. You can invest in TVIX. TVIX, we're going to go over that because now some of you can't invest in it. Here we go. Fed announces 1.5 trillion in capital injections. They're using the coronavirus as a scapegoat. This was already going to happen regardless. This just exasperated the point. Now the NBA shut down, MLB shut down, all the sports leagues shut down, no March Madness, Disney World shut down, Disneyland shut down, all Disney properties shut down. This is not good. NBA, MLB, NHL, these teams basically employ 1,000 to 1,500 people. The arenas are shut down. The concessions are shut down. This isn't, start thinking about this. Let's just say if there was 30 teams per league, and I'll go down. Let's say it's 20 teams per league, and you go through the 4 major sports in North America. Forget about soccer. Soccer is a whole nother element. So around the world, who aren't going to have their games, which they have 80,000 to 100,000 fans at games. You start talking about just the 4 majors, 20 teams have 1,500 people. You do understand the math. 20 teams times 1,500 people times 4. You start getting into over 100, 200,000 people are going to be laid off. You start getting into Disneyland, employees all over the planet are not going to be working. They are laid off, and also no money is going to be generated by Disney properties. How is this going to be a good thing for the economy, no matter how many trillions of dollars you give to the economy? Every day, every month, every week that these places are shut down, no money is moving. The properties, the 1%ers who own this don't make money. Employees don't make money. And employees don't have the money to begin with. This is going to be bad news, ladies and gentlemen. And you can prepare yourself. And by the way, speaking of preparation, silver, gold is going to be on sale right now. You should get some gold or get some silver. I'm not saying put 1,000 or 2,000 or 5,000 into it. What I'm trying to say is, if silver costs you less than $16, which it does today, you should think about getting yourself 50 bucks, 100 bucks. And don't be clowning with me, because those damn tennis shoes that people are buying that cost over $200, but yet 60, 70% of the people in the United States do not even have $1,000, but yet people are out here buying these shoes that mean absolutely nothing other than I can trade it later. Ladies and gentlemen, you better get some wealth in your pockets. You should buy at least $100 so you get the free shipping from APMEX or SD Bullion. At least. And you can do an e-check. You can order today, do an e-check, because that'll be your cheapest option. You pay a little more when you use PayPal and a credit card. And they allow you to mail your check in. But you lock in the price today. You can't get any better than this. People, the 1%ers, the top 10%ers are selling their gold and silver so they can actually pay some of these margin calls that they've been making, that the stock was going to go back up, because it's been going back up for the last 10 years. So they never really had any fear that it would just keep going down. And now they're getting calls saying, hey man, you need to give us that $200,000. That $300,000, so they're selling their gold and silver. That's why the price is going down right now. So grab some. All right? Now, let's get down to some other things, because I'm getting awfully tired of people being like sheep, listening to the nonsense of other people spouting off nonsense. America is not a capitalist society. It's only a capitalist society for us, the guys who have their own businesses. The people who employ 5 people, 20 people, 15 people. You are the ones who are in a capitalist society. Nobody's walking in your front door saying, hey, because you have this restaurant around the corner, or because you have this lawn care business, or because you drive for Uber, we're going to give you, how's $100,000 work for you right now? This is going to be because, you know, you're just a great company. You're not going to get that. Come on, wake up. Ain't going to happen. Who do you think gets that? Oh, you don't know, right? Okay, well, all you that do not know, look at this right here. Elon Musk's growing empire fueled by $4.9 billion in government subsidies. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll have the link down below. You can read it yourself. This article is from 2015. You think this is a level playing field? Nobody walks into your business or company and says, hey man, we'll give you a government subsidy. I'll tell you what, for everybody that buys something from you, we're going to give you a tax break of 10%. You don't have to pay taxes right now. And by the way, all your customers are going to get $1,000 off your product. Well, now I guess I can sell my $10,000 iPhone, my $70,000, $80,000, $100,000 electric car, because now my customers are getting tax breaks, which in turn is a subsidy for me, because I'm not reducing the cost of my car by $7 grand, $8 grand, $9 grand. No. So now I can sell at a higher price, and the government takes the hit to the tune of $8 grand, $7,500. Who would love to have that? Well, guess what? Elon Musk got that. You didn't. Shall I go on? Apple. Most of you know Apple today as what? One of the biggest companies on the planet. But did you know that Microsoft actually bailed out Apple? No, I know. All you guys think this Apple and iCrap. I'm sorry, Apple's a great company. I call them iCrap because I'm an Android guy. But Apple does make a product that does, it does its thing. That's why they have followers. A lot of you, probably 80% of you listening, probably have Apple. So there's nothing wrong with Apple. But the problem I'm having with them is this great company that everybody touts doesn't know the history. And look at here, 22-year tax break. Why? Because in 1997, they were on the brink of going under. And of all people, Microsoft came in to save them. The story that if you were born in 1997 and now it's 2020, you wouldn't know nothing about this. You would think Apple was this great company that was always a great company. Well, no, their competitor, Microsoft, bailed their behind out along with other people. They were getting ready to file bankruptcy. Bill Gates came along and said, hey, man, we can't have you go down. But don't worry, Bill Gates got some shares. They were non-voting shares, though, to bail them out. Of course, that was the deal. And Steve Jobs had to announce this at the Apple convention. And you could only imagine what the crowd was doing when he said, Microsoft is investing in Apple to save us. The crowd was silent. Of course they were silent. They were Apple believers. They believed in this capitalist society, thinking, oh my God, what are you talking about? They're taking over. But no, Steve Jobs made the deal. Non-voting shares, you can get that. And actually, Microsoft did it for their reasons as well. It wasn't out the kindness of his heart. There's a game going on. But I just want to prove to you, 22-year tax break. How many of y'all have property in California? How many of y'all had to go down and file bankruptcy in California or any state? And they said, oh, no, don't worry about it. Those taxes, don't worry about it. Your neighbor's going to pay your taxes for you. Your city's going to pay your taxes for you. Don't worry about it. You can stay in business. You don't have to do anything. That's literally what's going on here, America. You think you live in a capitalist society? Look here. Like I said, nobody, no individual, no regular business is going to get 20 years of tax breaks. Just like Donald Trump in the 70s, early 80s, when New York City gave him some 25-year tax break where he didn't have to pay taxes for like 20 to 30 years. Same thing. Nobody's getting that deal. So you better wake up. This is funny money, funny business. And again, some people are inside trading. Here's another proof of it. Now, a lot of you are sitting around here with the 401k. That's right, 401k. You know why you're sitting around with the 401k? Because the 1%ers, the top 10%ers came up with their next evil plan. They said, well, we know people are saving for their retirement. We're going to show them a chart that says the stock market rises about 7-8% a year for the last 20, 30 years. So that's why you should put your money in there. Meanwhile, they don't tell you about that 1% fee, 2% fee that they charge you to siphon off your wealth. So a lot of people are thinking, yeah, I put $500 in there every month, $200 in there every paycheck, $50 in there every paycheck. My company matches. All this is a ruse. Your company does not match 100% of what you put in there, ladies and gentlemen. You don't read the fine print. You're just happy that you have money in there, that you can just set it and forget it. And you think you're off in Never Never Land, and you think I'm going down in retirement after you done spent 20, 30 years at a company, and you're going, man, that money looks so sweet in there. I'm showing you again. I'll have a link down below to this as well, where you can read your 401k is getting siphoned off. And how about this? If there's $100 million in that account and the mutual fund company takes 1% a year, can you start doing the math? Where do you think that money's coming from? Yes, all of you collectively, the $100 million that's in that fund, or whatever they're doing with it, they take 1% off a year. What happens if the 100 million does not go up? 1% a year, ladies and gentlemen, means take that off. You can start doing the numbers. Next year's another 1%. Next year's another 1%. Now you might understand why they have to make the stock market go up. If the stock market doesn't go up, why would then the companies keep their money with these people? Because on the surface, it looks like the stock market's going up. Yes, it is. But you're not selling your shares to take the profit. The company still gets their 1%, and in some cases 2% per year. Think about every year you're having 1 or 2% siphoned off. In fact, you don't even have to think about it right now, because sometime in the near future, what could really happen is 0% interest rates, meaning you put your money in a bank, you're going to be paying them a fee when you withdraw. So imagine you go down to the bank and say, I want $1,000. It's not earning any interest, and you withdraw it, and they say, here's your $995, sir. It's happening already in Europe, ladies and gentlemen. They've already went to 1%. Therefore, if you have $500,000 in a 401k, you retire, where are you going to put that money? You can't take it to a bank that has negative interest rates, minus 0.01% it could be, or for that matter, let's just say it's 0. You don't earn any interest. The inflation is going to take your wealth away. So therefore, you're in the game. Now you're saying, where can I make some money, because I thought I was going to be able to retire at 60, 65. That $500,000 is worth a whole lot less money, especially when the Fed's put in $1.5 trillion. So you're not making no money, and the cost of living rises. So now your $500,000 will not last you over 20 years. Oh, I shouldn't even have done that. Ladies and gentlemen, you're only 65, let's say. You could live to 80. You could retire at 60. If you live 20 years, I've done this before, divide 500,000 by 20 years. You're not going to like that number, and you cannot live off of that number right now, which is why you have people over 50 and 60 still working and looking for part-time jobs, which is a shame, because they believed the hype the whole time, while the top 10% of Americans are getting over on the other 300 million Americans. All right, now let's get down to it. Here we are today. Look at this. Silver down to $15.39. I know it's really not that, because they got these they add on the little spot price. And I can see right now they're trying to get $16.58, which is, you got to pay that dollar, looks like almost $1.50 price. And as you can see, this is what I was talking about before. If you pay with check, they give you a few days. So if you make an order and you check out, it'll give you an order number, and you have like 5 days to get money to them, and they'll honor the price. And it doesn't matter if the price goes up or down. That's your price. It's locked in. And if you do not pay them when you order again, then you will have a fee of like 30 or I don't know the fee, $25 or $35. So once you have to have intent, and you actually have to buy it, otherwise you can't order from AppMax again without paying their cancellation fee. And as you can see here, a check is $17.58. If you use Bitcoin, it's $17.76, and if you use PayPal or a credit card, it's $18.31, because you got to pay that 3% fee, right? So That's why I recommend doing the check. And you can do App Max, as you see here. There'll be a link down below. SD Bullion. I'll have a link to them down below because all of them have this here. Orders over, free shipping for orders over $99 or more. So you want to order $100 worth of, whether it's an ounce or whether it's 5 ounces, whatever the case may be. You got to order. Oh, and it doesn't have to be silver. I'm just saying, here we are with gold has went down today. It's under 1,600. And here we are with platinum, palladium, all these. You know, take your pick on the precious metals. I mean, you can almost do copper as well. But these are the places you go. Now let's get down to the creme de la creme, because this is what we've been talking about here. And before I get into this, let's go look at something. Today when we woke up, this was positive $1,000. $1,000. This was 1,000 positive today when you woke up, otherwise known as the Dow futures. Overnight, because people heard that they were going to have the Feds were going to inject, bail out the stock market in the tune of 1.5 trillion. And by the way, I guess we can afford health care for all. It doesn't even cost 1.5 trillion for health care for all. Come on now, America. All right. Anyhow, we started at 1,000 today. Some of you could have bought VIXY or VIX or TVIX yesterday. You would have been happy and said, oh my God, they're going down this morning. But as you can see, since it started at 1,000 and it has now lost 750, that means the VIXY, the TVIX, and all them guys have went up. So again, I'll illustrate. This is how we can take advantage of the 1%ers when they screw up and take advantage in a big way. All right, here we go with VIXY. Here's what I did. I went back 5 days because I didn't want to go back a month. But as you can see, 5 days ago, beyond 5 days ago, I started talking about VIX. You can probably see a video around March 6th, March 5th, March 4th, somewhere in there, where I said, hey, guys, it's about time. You might want to start checking this out. So, but here's March 9th. And as you can see on the right side of the screen where they have that black going up and down, you could see on March 9th, it was starting out around 32, 31. It went down to 30, started going back up at 32, let's call it. All right. Here it was 5 days ago. If you would have listened to me, I'm not saying I'm not a stockbroker. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not none of that. I'm just saying this is what I do. So I'm just sharing with you. A lot of people aren't telling you what to do other than it's like I said before. It's always easy to say buy something when the stock market's going up. All these guys are saying do this, do that. But it's hard when it's going down. And there's a way we're doing it. So you can see on March 9th it ranged, depending on if you'd have bought something then. So now it dropped on March 10th to 25. Some of you might have bought on that day if you were lucky enough. But either way, some of you might have bought on the 10th for $30, $29. Some of you might have bought on the 10th. So then you move up here. On the 11th, some of you might have bought for $30. But either way, here it is, March 13th. And you can see it was at 34. That would be 10% on your money if you would have done something 5 days ago. Right? And then today, it appears we're at 34. No, it hasn't closed yet. So as you can see on the screen, we're at $39 as I'm talking right now. So even if you would have just done something in the last 3 days, you do realize buying something at $32 on the Webull app, where there's no trade fee, no commission. Use the link down below to get the Webull, because once you register, they'll give you a free share of stock. Once you make a deposit, they'll give you another free share of stock. There is a way to get a third share of stock, but you got to sign up with Webull. You can load money up same day. They use your e-check account. They give you the credit same day. All I'm trying to illustrate here is, even if you would have done something 5 days ago, 6 days ago, 8 days ago, you would have bought at 30, 32, 33. If it's at 38 right now, that means you got not 10% on your money, but 20% on your money, because 30 and 20 would be 36. 31 would make it 37, 38. So even if you would have bought for like 30, 31, you still have earned 20% on your money in less than 5 days. If you think the stock market is going to continue to go down, like I do, then I don't sell. If I think it's maybe I should take some profits, maybe I'll sell a few shares and take some profits. That is the logical thing to do, because you want to build your wealth. Because you do realize that the stock market will go back up eventually. So here we are with UVXY that I've shown before. And again, I used the same 5 days. It's March 9th, and it was at $52 a share. Okay? So you can see here, on March 9th, it fluctuated, 52, dropped down to 45, 44, 43, 47. So you could have bought it this range, 45. And then on March 10th, it dropped down even further. It went down under 40. So you're hovering around 40, 42. And again, on March 11th, 3-4 days ago, 45. Now look, on the screen today, it's at 65. That's $20 more per share. What is that? That's 10% would be $4.50. That would get you around $50. 20% would get you around $9 more, so that'd be at $54. 30% would be $12 to $13 more, so that'd get you around $58. So ladies and gentlemen, somebody, thank you, me, got more than 30% on my money in the last 5 days. But what if you had UVIX a month ago, when I mentioned it before, when it was only $10, when it was 11, 12, 15, 16, 20, on February 27th, $21. If you did not sell and you stayed the course, $40 per share. And you would have options at this point. You would say, hey, is that good enough to take profits? Some people would say, yes, that's good enough. I'll take my extra $30 or $40 for the shares that I bought. What are you going to do with it? It can't sit in the bank. You have to think about reinvesting. And here, the ultimate TVIX, just March 9th, 5 days ago, was 295. When I did a video, it was around 210, I believe, or 200. And most of you know I talked about TVIX a long time ago, all you subscribers. But we'll stick with 5 days. 295. If you would have done something on the 10th, it's 202. On March 11th, you had an opportunity to buy even at 250. And it started rising. Even on March 12th, you could have bought at 367. And you could have bought at 270. But that was yesterday. If you would have started here 5 days ago, it was 295. Today, as you can see on the screen, it's 410. That's over 100. What is that? 300. Let's just call it 300 to 400. 100 and like $9, $10 per share of ownership. But I have to do this because I always talked about TVIX, and you can see right here, ladies and gentlemen, a month ago, $40, $39, $40, $64. It was affordable for most everybody a month ago. Now it's not affordable at $415 a share. But if you rode along, that is over a 100%, 200%, 300%, 400%, 500% on your money. Now, this is how we take advantage. And I'm going to say this is why I showed the other ones, because you can get in for a lower amount while the getting in is good. But keep in mind, these are velocity. When the stock market goes up, like it must be rising right now because that dropped down, right? Yeah, see, it was 234 before and it started going up to 275. So you can see, oh, now it's back to 211. So these are based on fluctuations. Yeah, see, now it went back up again. So these are the fluctuations that you look for, and it depends on what you can stomach. If you believe that the stock market's going to keep going down, then you would keep your money in these shares. If you believe that the stock market's going to go up, then you might want to get your money out. And so then I messed up on the screen because what I did not do was Ford stock, because here we are. This is what I'm talking about. I've talked about Ford when it was $6.20 or 40 cents. I talked about it when it was $5.90. Now today, it's $5.22, even after the Fed said they're going to inject $1.5 trillion. This is a long video, but here's the end. You sell your VIX profits and invest in a Fortune 500 company that gives you, if you bought shares today at $5.22, where can you get 11.48% on your money without breathing, using their money, the profit that you received? And now you put that in your fund, in your portfolio with Webull. I'll use Webull because they have that promo right now. But so does Robinhood. So does M1 Finance. All the links will be down below. But look at this, ladies and gentlemen. Let me give you an eyeful. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, you used UVXY. And I won't even use, I'll use this here. Let's just say you got in and it doesn't matter, but I'll use the 45-ish number. And let's just say you said, hey, I'm going to invest $200 in this. That would be about 4 shares, because it doesn't come out to 200, but I'll say 5 shares, so we get into 250 bucks. And now you said, you know what, it's $65 a share, and now I'll sell those 5 shares. Those 5 shares, 250 is now going to be 350 or so, 340. So I don't know the number that easily. But you say, okay, I'll sell a share. You still have more than the 250 you invested. You sell the share of profit. You go over on your thing and say, okay, $5.22, or, well, it went down to $5.18 apparently. But you say, okay, give me this. Put a limit order. Oh, by the way, don't do a market order. Your price could get siphoned. What happens is these companies can make money. In other words, if you put a market order, they could say that that's at their discretion to purchase. So therefore, they can purchase it at $5.25, but they could have went in before you and purchased at $5.22, and they make up the difference. So you want to put in your limit order. So you say, I want to buy this for $5.22 by the close of business today, or $5.23, whatever you want to. But what I'm trying to illustrate is that one share at $66, now you can buy 12 shares of Ford stock, and they give you dividends of 15 cents per every 3 months, per quarter. At the end of the year, you have earned 60 cents. And by the way, you could reinvest your dividends on some platforms, like if you had E-Trade, if you have Webull, you can reinvest your dividends. I don't know, Robinhood doesn't have reinvestment of dividends. They just give it to you in cash. But you could, if those 12 shares represent 60 cents per share. That's not bad. $7 per year in free money, dividend money. And you could reinvest it. Now imagine if you're a Warren Buffett and have thousands of shares. Imagine if you're a mutual fund, a hedge fund, Wall Street Investment Bank, who has millions of shares, and you're receiving 15 cents every 3 months from your millions of shares. Start small, ladies and gentlemen. That's all you have to do. Those 10 shares for $52, those 20 shares for $100. What's your 401k doing? Are they sending you 100? You could have 10 shares. That equals $6 a year. 1,000 shares, $60 a year. Meanwhile, you're reinvesting the dividends, and it could actually mean you have more than those 1,000 shares now. You follow what I'm saying? So you're using their money to create more wealth. And then you just be patient. You're willing to work somewhere for 20 years. You're willing to work somewhere for 25 years. Why aren't you willing to let your money work for those same 5, 10, 15 years, 20 years? That's all I have to say today, because this is way, way too long. But I just wanted to illustrate you can do something about it. So thank you again for watching. Thank you for listening. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. And you know it's hard out here. That's why I'm bringing you the real. Nobody else is doing it. What are these guys, the gurus, doing right now? They're saying, what, invest in the stock market? I don't think that's a sound plan while it goes down. Oh, wait, buy on the dip? That wouldn't have worked now for the last 2 weeks, because if you don't have dividends coming in on your stock, now you're only dealing with the stock price, and if it's going down, it's going down. What else are they saying? Buy our course? That course isn't going to be looking too good about now, is it? When you're out of a job, you're laid off. They're not going to. You're not going to be thinking that way now. Now, come to my seminar? No, you can't come to the seminar. You're not going to gather right now because of the coronavirus. Now, what are you going to do? Stop struggling now way. Those little streams of income that I was talking about, getting your footprint down on the internet, that comes in handy right about now. Amazon's going to be looking pretty good right about now. Those companies that bring food to the house, looking good right about now. Anything that looks like a service industry that you're going to be taking advantage of people utilizing staying at home, you will be doing good with that type of business about now. This is when entrepreneurs do a check and say, opportunity knocks. What business can I be in that can get somebody food, clothes, items that they need at home? If you're starting a business and an entrepreneur looking for another opportunity, here it is. Entrepreneurs always look for opportunities. And with all that said, keep your head up, keep moving, and I'm out.